They never told you this. They never called. They never sent the message they typed 100 times and erased every single time. But losing you affected them more than they'll ever admit. From the outside, it looks like they moved on, like they were fine, like you were just a chapter they closed without a second thought. But the truth is much quieter, much heavier, and far more painful than you imagine. Because some losses don't scream, they echo. And losing you became an echo that followed them everywhere. At first, they convinced themselves it was freedom. Freedom from responsibility, freedom from emotional effort, freedom from showing up fully. They told themselves, "I'll be okay, I always am." They distracted themselves with people, noise, routines, nights that blurred into mornings. But then the silence came, and silence is dangerous because silence remembers. They started noticing the smallest things, a song you once shared, a phrase you used to say, a moment in the day when you used to be there, without effort, without force. And that's when it hit them. Not all at once, but slowly, relentlessly. They didn't miss the arguments. They didn't miss the complications. They missed your presence, the way you understood them without interrogation, the way you stayed when things weren't convenient, the way you loved without keeping score. You were safe to them, and they didn't realize how rare that was until it was gone. They never told you this, but losing you forced them to sit with parts of themselves they had been avoiding for years. You were the mirror they didn't want to look into. When you left, or when they let you go, they lost more than a person. They lost the version of themselves that felt seen, the version that softened around you, the version that believed love didn't have to hurt to be real. And here's the part they'll never confess. They thought you would always be there. They thought you would wait. They thought you would understand forever. They thought your patience had no expiration date. They didn't think they were losing you. They thought they were in control. But time doesn't wait for indecision, and love doesn't survive neglect. So when you finally pulled away, emotionally or physically, it shook them, because suddenly the world felt colder. They tried to replace you, not because they didn't care, but because they didn't know how to sit with the emptiness you left behind. And every comparison failed, because no one loved them the way you did. No one listened the way you did. No one stayed the way you stayed. They realized too late that you weren't asking for too much. You were asking for bare minimum presence, and even that felt heavy to them at the time. Now, the regret doesn't come in dramatic waves. It comes in quiet moments, late at night, early mornings, random pauses during the day when their mind drifts back to you. They replay conversations, moments where they could have chosen differently, words they should have said. And the hardest realization? You didn't leave because you stopped loving them. You left because you loved yourself enough to stop shrinking. That realization hurts more than anger ever could, because anger can be blamed, but self-awareness has nowhere to hide. They never told you this, but losing you changed how they love now. They're more guarded, more cautious, less careless with people who offer genuine connection. Because once you lose someone who loved you deeply and quietly, you never forget what that feels like. Even if they never come back, even if they never reach out, even if pride keeps their mouth closed forever, your absence taught them a lesson they'll carry for life. That real love doesn't beg, that real love doesn't shout, that real love doesn't threaten to leave. It simply leaves when it's no longer valued. And if you ever wonder whether you mattered, whether losing you affected them, remember this. People don't break from losing someone they didn't care about. They only fracture when they lose something real. You were real, and they felt it, deeply, even in silence.